think I feel like it goes deeper than that, but you feel like right now you have like this sense of clarity. Why?
Why? Because I worked really hard on myself deeper. Like, it's just a matter of realizing that when people give you hate, when religious people give you hate on social media, and even the people who are non-religious give you hate on social media, when you come out sharing your story, my story, other people's stories about leaving the religion, and you realize that they are afraid that you're gonna say not nice things about the religion, or you're sharing other people's struggle when you want to really just spread awareness and help other people, just to share that it's a safe space, my page. And then when you're trying to find clients as well to help people become their authentic self, either they want to stay in the religion, but they had trauma even while they're staying in the religion. Either they were sexually abused, or they have PTSD, or they're struggling with mental health. But they are afraid to work with me because I'm not religious, or people who are not religious, or they're in the closet, meaning they're not religious. They are not religious, but they're making believe they're religious. They think I'm going to tell the rabbi or tell the community. I always joke that I'm the FBI or CIA. They really think that. So they're scared to sign up with me,
Right.
or they're scared to make the change of working hard on leaving. So it's very hard for me to find those clients. And they will attack me on social media. So I had to stop putting out videos. I had to stop sharing. I had to really sit back and look into myself on why is that bothering me. Because when you get triggered or when you get hurt, you have to look within yourself to see why that's bothering you. When you feeling pain, it's in you to work on yourself, to not get affected by other people. So I had to take a step back and realize, why is that bothering me? So I did that. And I realized that I took a big step back, and I realized that I cannot get affected anymore from those people who attack me. And because of that,
Yeah.
I was able to see that I can use my platform to help other people, but that's not the niche I'm looking for right now.
I so it's kind of hard to put yourself in where, okay, a lot of people know this, where even for myself, like I grew up in the Orthodox Jewish community as well. And, we kind of come from the opposite sides, literally like cross between a river, there's Borough Park and then there's Muncie. And I've been on other podcasts where I've talked about my personal experience, because the truth, like we've even talked about this before, where there are people that will say that they have amazing experiences. And then the issue that boils down to, especially for people such as ourselves that have left and try to find other people that have left, a lot of them are very bitter people. And they think that they have to isolate themselves, put themselves in boxes, literally make their own version of a cult outside of a cult. Kind of ironic. And it's a hard pill to swallow, because, you want to be able to, obviously, you have skills. You're not, somebody that doesn't, and you're able to do something a lot of people are not capable of doing. But then you also have at the same time these people that can't understand that. And then instead of being supportive and seeing that you're trying to do something that is actually trying to benefit people, just straight out attacking it from both
Mm-hmm.
sides. So OT, like it's off OTD, which is off the derech, and then the religious side all coming in, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
It's a little wild.
yeah. Because we got hate from both sides, because the religious people are trying to protect their rules, their religion, protect the rabbis, protect their parents, protect their family. And the OTD people who left the religion are trying to say that their story is not my story, or that's not how it went down. But everybody has a different reason why they left. Everybody experienced something else. Everybody has their own journey, which a lot of people don't understand. What I went through is not what you went through. Like, I could be sharing something on, let's say, TikTok when I go live, and people will say, well, that's not your story. But then I'll say something and they're like, oh, yeah, exactly that. I'm like, so that's what I'm trying to say. So it's really a matter of people having to listen and not jump to conclusions. And I even had someone who is religious come on my TikTok, and they said they saw a video from me from a few years ago, and they said, "Oh, you were." I kind of thought you were making fun of religion, but then I thought that you're coping because you had just left. And I said, "Yeah, that was the first time I broke Passover, and I was kind of having fun, but that was not meant to make fun of religion." Now I'm making Passover for my nieces who are religious and for my religious sister. But not necessarily do I even believe in any of this anymore. But I had to work on myself to let go of the triggers that I had when making Passover or keeping kosher and all of these things, so that I'm not putting this on my sister and my nieces, so that I am feeling good about it, so that I'm not triggered by it, so I'm not giving the negativity over to them. So this is something everyone has to look into themselves to see how they are projecting it onto other people. And this is something that a lot of
Yeah.
people cannot do when they're stuck in their ways and are not ready to make the change. You have to be ready
No.
and willingly to make a change and realize if therapy is not working for you, either look for a new therapist, or C, maybe you have to go deeper. And some coaching is sometimes deeper than a therapist. And I just had someone message me that last night when I was helping her on TikTok. She's like, I said to her, I wanted to know. So is this different than coaching? She actually messaged me and said, you are real. My therapist cannot talk like that with me. And you actually got me thinking about her relationship.
Yeah.
And she's like, you did better. I feel calmer because you actually was open to being honest. And I said, that's my promise. That's my mission statement. Is if I see red flags in someone's relationship, I'm going to say it. I had a client who actually stopped working with me because I kind of told her your partner is a red flag. And she had to stop working with me because she didn't want to hear it. So I said, okay.
I, I I I think what also gets kind of lost in the weeds is a lot of the times you have where we give this notion and idea of where kids are supposed to be adults to a certain level or degree, or they're supposed to be pampered and nurtured. And I've had this conversation many times with autistic kids, even ones that can't, they're nonverbal and they can't speak. And this over bubbling and over protection, instead of realizing maybe sometimes it might be good to get an outside source. You know, therapy is great and there's a lot of great physicians and doctors, but sometimes you need a different approach of where you can have somebody that can understand what it is to be different, and you'd be surprised, like even 10, 12, even 15 years old, like you may think you're the mother and you're the father, you're the sister and the brother, like they should be understanding, but sometimes having that outside source that just comes in and they're like, and in their head, they're like, oh my God, I have somebody I can actually connect with. And then they're able to come out of their shell. I think that's like more valuable than anything else, you know?
Yeah. And that's why, like, that's the reason why I was talking with you about switching gears a little bit and opening up a new idea of working with the neurodivergent and mental health differently than what I've been doing in the last 15, 20 years, is working with the autistic special needs community, where I worked with individuals together with the parents, but under the agencies. But I've seen so much in with that, and I see the struggles that parents face, and I see the struggles that children face based on working with OPWDD and seeing the red tape. And me coming and trying to make a difference, I can't necessarily, because I have to follow protocol. and then I'm not really listened to as much because parents have the last say. And I want to do is really come in and use my unconventional way where I have hands-on learning all these years working. And I've had so much success stories where I actually learned how to work with autistic children and special needs adults and teenagers where they make so much change outside of my unconventional way with the parent not there. Either I'm walking with the kid outside, or I'm alone with the child, or I'm traveling with the child, or I'm just walking with the child in the street, and they're getting one on one attention from me. And I have nonverbal kids talk to me. They said, I love you, or I love you before they even said it to the parent. And I just sat there crying, and the parent was jealous. I had kids open up to me about their struggle, and I got them to speak up in school. I've had kids who were not eating properly, like they had ARFID or they just had sensory to food, and they actually learned to eat other foods through me. And I don't have a degree in eating therapy or speech therapy or OT, but
No.
I got them to do that. I got them to play with toys. I had a kid who would throw toys, and I taught him not to throw toys. I have a teenager who now he's doing art with me, and he was never interested in that, and he's drawing. Um,
Yeah.
so it's just an unconventional way where it's just coming in and having also discussions with parents where they could easily work with me to understand that you could still work with your therapist and work with the OPWDD, but have someone else who could come in and see the whole picture where I could work side by side with your therapist, but have someone who could see it in general. And maybe as an organizer, if you had ADHD, because I see parents who are also maybe autistic and they're not getting the help because when you get later diagnosed, like I'm now got validated by me that I am autistic. I grew up with medical neglect, so I never got diagnosed with anything. And I have ADHD, and I just got diagnosed with that in my later 30s now. And I never got the proper help, so I'm learning now how to deal with it. But it's seeing and hearing parents and partners who have children who have now got later diagnosed with it, and now you have children, and you're dealing with maybe you're even a foster parent or you adopted your children, or I'm taking care of helping my sister with the nieces, and I have all these challenges. So having someone help you, there's nothing wrong with that. But you're not eligible for OPWDD because you're the adult now. So you're struggling. And so it's just being okay knowing that you need help. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think that's also something that applies to everywhere. I mean, like obviously, like we're both like from New York, and we have to deal like especially with New York. There's a lot of bullshit that goes on with like rules and regulations. But I'm not a parent. I can't speak on behalf of all parents, but I think that one of the things that make a parents really great is the knowledge and understanding that you don't have to do everything perfect. If you know the thing about being able to raise kids, I think, is the understanding of like you're going to make mistakes along the way, but to use excuses of where you have good income that's coming in, you're able to take care of your kids pretty well financially, and they're having difficulties, and to use this excuse, well, we can't afford it, or we can't fit in our budget, or we don't want another person coming into our situation. It's like, I get that, but at the same time, you want to be the best parent for your kids. If you can't understand that you can't do every single thing for them, that's just the way of life. There's no such thing as a perfect mother or father and father, or mother and mother, or whatever it may be. There is no perfect formula. Am I wrong?
No. And that's where you have to be able to realize that, because especially for people who left the cult or people who grew up with abuse or people who just struggle. Like, especially for me who left Jewish Orthodoxy, I didn't grow up with medical neglect, and learning now all my health issues that I had and the mental health struggles that I had, which I knew I had it my whole life, but I just learning it now in the last couple of years. So it's every time I go to the doctor, I'm like, oh, thank you, mommy. Thank you, mommy. you, you know? And it's like, yeah, this makes sense. This is why I need more pills. Thank you. This is why I'm breathing this way. Okay. And this is why I struggle this way. Thank you. And every single doctor's office, they ask me, how long have you been struggling with it? Since I am 4, since I am 8, since I'm 12, you know, since I was just broke out in high some soy chip, you know, thinking I'm allergic to everything. And I'm like, no, I told my mother, what did she do? Jack shit. So it's just a matter of like realizing that sometimes you don't even know what the root cause is. And that's my work. My work is that I've done, I learned from my coach who taught me the work that I do today. I've done many coaches. I worked through so much. I've been married twice. So I've gone to marriage counseling. I've done book. I've done no one
Not a very big fan of
exactly.
therapists,
And I've done,
FYI.
I'm
Yeah.
putting it out there because this is a platform. No one do Laura Doyle. She is another cult leader for teaching you how to be the perfect wife for your husband. Please do not do Laura Doyle. And I've done all that. How to be the perfect wife. How to be the perfect person. Um, and I've done all this work. I learned, I've done coaches, I've done money coaches, I've done mental health coaches, I've done diet, I've done all this. I know all the work. But the person who really changed my life is my coach, Philip Weave. He actually helped save me from my second ex. And then he taught me now how to coach properly. He actually mentored me how to do the skills that I do today. And the unconventional coaching that I do today is because of him. And he saved my life literally from not unaliving myself or, falling apart after my second divorce. And he he showed me the way. He told me that you need to be honest with your client. You have to be authentic. And he got me to being from literally falling apart from getting divorced and like getting out to where I am today. And because of
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you've come a long way. It's to anybody that's not aware of this. Shane came into my life because of Jude. Like Jude has been a long time friend of mine. Like I think it's now going on like 6 years, and you've always stuck out it as a sore thumb in a good way, in the sense where you're a loud, obnoxious New Yorker that will step right over you, and you have a heart of gold. But I think what happens a lot of the times, especially like people such as ourselves, is you run into those people that don't appreciate you, constantly belittle you, constantly demean you, and you get to a point where you say, then what is the point? I'm trying to be the best version of myself, but nobody's listening or hearing me. And we both figured out, okay, we're both pretty vocal. We like being able to express ourselves. We have pretty good skills in regards to talking. We both have really good skills in regards to talking. New York trait. But I I think this is something that gets so lost, especially in the OTD community and the religious community, is that like we're not bashing every single person. We're just bashing the way that we were treated and how we were raised, the lack of understanding of learning disabilities,
mhm.
the lack of, like remorse. Remorse. Is that even a word that we can use
Yeah, like
anymore?
even the fact that like, if I would have known that I was autistic, I would have loved the help I do for my client. I would have loved because I failed through school. I would have loved to have someone teaching me social skills. I have to work hard now, and I need to work hard that I don't cut people off. I have to work hard not to cut you off. I learned. I literally learned that in the last couple of years to be able to sit here and do a podcast. Like I had to learn to do this as a coach, and I have ADHD, so it's like sitting here,
Oh yeah.
sitting here able to do this is a big deal. You know, sitting here able to coach is a big deal. And and people don't realize that you could learn how to get this way with ADHD. Yeah, my desk is a disarray, but I know
You don't want to see my desk. It's
exactly.
bad.
But I know how to, exactly. But I know how to organize it. Like, to put in the time to organize it. But I'm saying is that doesn't have to be that you're a failure. Like people have to realize that when you are in a cult and when you leave a cult, people think that you have to be an angry person. People automatically think like that you leave religion, you're an angry person. You could be angry. There's nothing wrong to be angry. It's a healthy emotion to be angry. But you have to know how to let go of it. You have to know how to process it. You have to have healthy coping skills. I hate that word. To to process it. And me teaching my nieces now how to process it is amazing to see the next generation learning how to process it and watching them not have the trauma that we dealt with. It's beautiful. And that's what I want to do is the next generation is not to go through what we went through. And they're religious. And that's all that matters. And teaching them that the fat day that's coming up, they don't have to be sad. You don't. No one is forcing emotion. You could be
I
sad, but no one is forcing you to be sad.
no, I think that's something that's really lost in the weaves, which is the sense of we're talking about Tisha B'av, and it's it kind of doesn't make any sense, and I'll explain why. Because I get it, especially with Jewish people, there have been a lot of atrocities that have existed in our past. A lot of different cultures have had the same thing. But I think what's really incredible is still to be able to still be ethnically Jewish and be able to pass things on for the new generation and to allow them to build the next future because obviously they're going to be here when we're not here. And that to me I think is the most important thing of it all is instead of passing on trauma and pain, you pass on not failures, the mistakes that we've made before and the things we're doing now not to
Mhm.
make those same
Exactly.
mistakes.
And what's beautiful is I didn't really learn how to bake with my mother. And my niece videotaped me the other day making pancakes. And I told her how to make pancakes. It was such a warm moment.
She made pancakes.
Yeah. She called me up videotaped with her tablet on this thing. She's like, watch me, I'm making pancakes. It was such a
I know which one you're talking about. We're not gonna say who, but I know who. Boy, does that lady have a mouth like a toilet, let me tell you.
oh my God.
She
It
does.
was a miracle. And I'm like,
She's so fresh.
she's like, I'm making
As fresh as the pancakes.
it was so cute. I like you're so cute. Like it was just a warm moment to see that like you could you could just teach something and she's doing it with her mother. That is so beautiful. Like it's just so beautiful. And those moments you're passing on because you're teaching them that you could have happy moments together amidst the chaos. And that's just what it is. You could go through so much pain and you could have it, but these moments could be so beautiful. And that's what we're trying to do here is not always focus on your trauma. I could sit here and tell you my whole life story, but that's not what is important. What's important is you take the lesson of what you've been through and be grateful of what you become. And people don't always understand that because forgiveness is not for the other person who hurt you. Forgiveness is for yourself. And people don't always understand that. People don't always like that. Because believe me, I hate my mother. My mother watches this. Good. Let her follow you. I hate my mother. I don't want to see her, but she wants to see me. I don't know if that's going to happen because my mental health comes first. But I can't say I forgive her. I forgive her because my mental health comes first. But I forgive myself because I need to be able to be okay when I message her. I didn't fully cut her out. She's not blocked because I'm strong enough now to message her how I feel. You know what she messaged me back? I'm not Trump or Netanyahu. I can meet you when you're ready. I'm like, didn't respond. She never got a message back. Yes, I am the president. I don't have to meet you.
I would love to do a Donald Trump impression, but I'm really bad at it. I can do an Israeli impression. That's pretty good,
That's a
which
good
is
message.
Zelotov. Zelotov. I don't want to make problem.
It,
But
it was such a good moment where I'm like, no, I'm the president. Exactly. You're not meeting me. Like, I have a life, you know?
I think also what I think what sometimes is a lot of times which is hard to process is family, especially when you have blood family. They can't tell you how you're supposed to live your life or who you're supposed to be because every single person gets a choice. Just like in my family, I have two that decided to be religious and live in Israel. I had one that decided not to be religious and live in California and build a family. And they all live different lives. They all raise their kids the way they want to raise their kids. And what I think is, you're right. You can forgive, but you don't have to forget because the forgiveness is for you. Those people that are still like, trust me, there are people that I don't know why the universe hasn't killed them yet.
I always
When
say
that
that.
day
I
happens,
always,
I know that's horrible to say, but just the amount of trauma
yeah,
some of these individuals have put me through, it's like just knowing that they're underground.
exactly. And I say that all the
Lets me
time.
breathe.
I say that all the time. It's like, why are they still breathing? Like what? Like I am the one carrying the trauma still, and they're still breathing and walking. But you know what? Then I say maybe they didn't have a slow death and suffer. Maybe that's what they need. The family should sit there and watch them suffer while I'm still walking and breathing. You know, and it's like one of those things because people don't realize that you're allowed to cut off your family, and it's important to be able to say that because your mental. I just had this last night on our TikTok live. You're allowed to cut off your family because what does love mean? I just had this yesterday. What does love mean? Self love. People don't understand. People think love means giving. People think love means giving to the other person. Love means giving space. Love means sharing, birthday presents, parties. No, love means self love. That is the definition of love. You need to love yourself first. Once you love yourself first, then you could get to other people. Then you could invite a partner in. Then you can invite your family in. Then you could decide who is not allowed in your surroundings. Then you could make boundaries. And then you could work through being a codependent. Then you could realize, is that person good? Then you could see red flags. Once you have that for yourself, then you could decide if that partner that I'm dating, you know this for yourself right away. Then you could work on your intuition. Then you could see. So love means self love. And people don't realize that because then you start breaking up with you have 5, 6, 7 breakups. And then you, like me, I went through 2 divorces. And then I had players after I left because I wasn't yet recognizing what the word loving until I realized, wait, I need to be okay to be alone first. I need to be okay to know what my standards are. I have to know how to communicate what I want in a relationship, know what I need, and then I can attract the most amazing partner that I have now. So that is the definition of love. And that is what we need to realize. You're allowed to block people. And then when you're ready, you could decide, do I want them back in my life? And you could decide to unblock them whenever you're ready. You could archive messages and then decide, do I want them back? Because then you have to realize what comes first, your mental health, because that's self love. So I had to make those conversations with my partner as well. People from their family, and people from my family. And I had to decide to have those hard conversations. And you need to allow yourself the space to have those hard conversations. If you can't have those hard conversations, then that partner or spouse or anyone is not for you. And that means you need to slowly cut off those toxic relationships because then you're not going to allow yourself to bring in the financial success you want. Allow yourself to bring in the love you need, the successes you want, and stuff like that.
Yeah. I For anybody that's aware of this, I've talked about this many times on the podcast. Where besides doing this, like I'm currently in vocational school, and I'm training to be an automotive technician. And I'm right now in an MSAC program, which is like specializing. I'm specializing for work for BMW. And to your point, Shane, for myself, where I realized I'm in an environment where I've been in one first ever relationship last year, lasted a month and a half. I realized that I need somebody that can communicate, has resilience, and can be vulnerable. And I put myself in a lot of different relationships even this year. And the one thing that I've learned through the most is I've lost a lot of people along the way, but the people that have stuck around and I've actually had genuine connections, such as yourself, I've learned to put my energy where my energy is due. So it's not saying to cut off, to run away, or to get out and isolate yourself. No, it's the idea of where now at 26 years old, Florida is not for me. I understand and realize that through my trauma and pain, I've always made New York as a hell house because I grew up in hell. But that doesn't, why should I limit myself? When I know myself that I can come back to the environment I'm very familiar with, get a position, build myself up. This podcast could actually benefit from New York. Hello, we went to a tattoo place. She came on. I don't know what episode it is, but you guys could check that out too. Like, I know where I belong. I know where I benefit. I know where I'm supposed to have my headspace. And that's how you get your mental health. You sometimes have to figure out who is important enough in your life that
Yeah.
matters. Even if it comes with fences and boundaries. Because guess what, honey? Sometimes you
Yeah.
need that, especially with family
Yeah.
members.
And it's very important because people realize, like, people think, like, we grew up. What's very important is, and you got me thinking, like, we grew up. I grew up, well, because I got married. I got divorced. I got married, thinking that,
You lived in Muncie. You had
yes, I had
experience.
experience. But exactly, I lived there. And I grew up thinking, like, I have to ask my husband everything. I needed validation for everything. So I even asked my husband, do you like what I'm wearing? Can I go here? Can I have money? Can I have this? Can I have that? Can I have this? And just all that gave me anxiety. And that kept me back. That kept me stuck. That kept me, like, limited. And now I don't even know if my earrings and my necklace to my dress matches, but I wanted to wear this. I didn't even ask Jude, do I look good to come on? I wanted to wear this. So I'm wearing it.
You have cool style. I mean, I'm literally wearing a tank top
Exactly.
right
I'm
now.
reviewing it. I'm just wearing it. I stopped wearing makeup recently. Like, I'm just okay with this. Like, it's just a matter of recognizing that you could dress a certain way and don't need validation. This is self love. I had body dysphoria my entire life. And I just had struggled my entire life. And I understand what people go through with their sexuality and all that. And I'm still struggling with my sexuality still. And it's not perfect, but coming to be able to look in the mirror and be okay is a very strong thing. And I understand the people who are struggling with it. So recognizing that,
Yeah.
I understand it all.
Yeah. No, and I think you bring up a really excellent point, which is where there's this stigma and this idea where you need to, if you're a biological female or you're a biological male, you have to present yourself a certain way in society. And I hate to break some people's balls out there, but I'm in a school full of men, and it turns out many of them are quite queer, and they're 100% straight. They're feminine men, or some of these guys like very masculine women. And there are women that are extremely masculine, they like men's clothes. There are men on the other side that like women's
Mhm.
clothes. And obviously, there's a time and a place and a setting for everything, okay? Relax. But I think that's a really valuable thing because that does come with self love. It's a person being comfortable enough with themselves that you don't have to be El Macho to be in a relationship with a woman. You could just be as much of a baby as she is, crying when you're watching, Princess Diaries too. You know,
Yeah,
like trust me, there are women that love men like that. And getting out of that stigma
yeah,
because, like you said, it's like, oh, is this okay? Like, can I wear this here? Like, who
right.
cares? Who
Right. I
cares?
remember the anxiety I had looking for a Shabbos outfit, looking for a Shabbos robe, looking at the camera, sending it to my ex. Like both my
Just
husbands.
run outside with a bra and panties.
Exactly. Do you like it? No, I don't. Do you like it? And I'm like, being myself, I love it. Like, why am I asking him? Like, why am I asking him? Like, why? You know? And it's like, dude, like, why don't you like? And that didn't make us stay together, even. Didn't even. It's just mind boggling what.
I know.
It's just mind boggling what holds us back. And this was something my coach had to teach me so I could even get divorced. Was like, you wouldn't ask, like, I remember the example he gave me. He's like, you wouldn't ask a plumber about a computer job, a computer question, you know? So you're not going to ask someone it doesn't know anything about dresses, like if it's good, if he doesn't know anything about dresses. And that stuck to me so much after I left. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so right. Like,
I know.
it's like, why we
I,
learned that? Like, why did that matter? Like, it's like going to your rabbis about certain things. And I'm like, you're not even qualified.
I think it also ties in, and I'm going to tie it into this, is where, like, when you're dealing with kids, teenagers, or young adults that are dealing with learning disabilities, or they're on the spectrum for autism, whatever. I Okay, even from my own personal experience, and again, nothing wrong like anybody, but like, just because you're different doesn't mean you're not capable of being really good in professions. I learned this, okay, because of my instructor. My instructor is dyslexic. All right. He's a little struggles with a little bit of learning problems, but he's a pretty good instructor. He is a master technician from BMW, and he worked for that company for 20 years. Turns out BMW hires a lot of people with learning disabilities. Why do you think that's the case? It's because they realize, as a company, they're dealing with a lot of electronics, a lot of mechanical things. People like me, we love
Yeah.
systems and structure. So you can have functional adults coming out of these people. To box them off and making them think that they constantly need another person to hold their hand, I feel like you're just crippling
Yeah.
them. So what? They can't speak. Like, we have speak to text. There's AI systems today that allow people to talk without even moving their mouth. Like, what what is all of these red curtains? What is all these obstacles and boxes that are people coming up with? Like, I don't deal with this,
Mhm.
because I don't have any of these kids or whatever, but like,
Yeah, they're very smart. They understand so much. I worked with them and they are brilliant. Like they know they hold your hand and take you for what they want. So cute. Like the kid I worked with, I was listening to Katy Perry Roar. I forget the song. And that was the song that helped me get divorced. And he would be like, Roar, Roar, Roar. It was like his favorite song. He didn't think. Like he would talk to me.
crazy.
He didn't talk to nobody, but he'll speak to me. So like
I
they are capable of so much if we have like if you have the right support, and it's not even a matter of you have to find the right people. Yet schools do a great job with them. And therapists out there do amazing, they're amazing heroes.
Oh yeah.
Amazing heroes. Schools, the right schools are amazing heroes. They really put up with a lot. They're amazing heroes. But sometimes you just need that person to see the overall picture and helping the overall family without having to think that they're going to call um, child services on them. It doesn't mean everybody is going to do harm to you. It's a matter of thinking that people are out there to actually help you. People are out there that love you, who want to help you. It could be over Zoom, it could be, just in your house for support. Like people are out there to really help you. I've been there, I've seen it. It's just it's challenging, and this is ways that people have to understand that it's struggling. Like I'd see TikToks where it's hard. I've seen it on social media. I've been there also in person. Like it's challenging. It is really hard. But everyone can get like it's just challenging.
I think what's hard is to be able to accept the fact that not everything not everything comes easy. You know, and one thing I've even learned, especially like with doing podcasting and speaking with other parents, is it's so it's okay when things are hard. You know, like I don't think any parent is comfortable or honestly can say that, they've had a smooth sailing from beginning of birth towards teenage years, but it's that resilience that comes with it. This ability that you want to do the best things that you can. Even when the time, like, you have kids in their 20s, and they're still struggling. You want to do the best thing that you can, because let's be honest, all right? And I'm not trying to give any criticism, but I personally believe both sets of our parents, could have never had children. Period. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Every single one of my siblings, including me, are all messed
Oh yeah.
up. The reason why I'm 26, gay, and barely in any relationships, don't really want to have kids, don't really want to get married, is because of my
Yeah.
siblings. Like, my sister's kids, I love them to death, but holy shit. My other brother lives in, like, positive la la land, like as if he's in Candyland all day. You know? It's great. His kids are really tough cookies, but it's like, you can't speak any normalcy to the
Nope.
man. And then sorry, like I got my other brother, right? He lives out in California. Love him to death. Rich as fuck. Gives his kids everything they want. They're sweet kids.
Oil.
Spoiled
Yep.
brats.
And that's the problem. Same with my siblings. Like some of them are not married, some of them are married, but I'm waiting for divorces. I'm waiting for divorces. I'm waiting for struggle. I see it. And some of them are in La La Land, some of them are not, like just horrible. And my nieces and nephews, a lot of them are messed up. And it's very sad to watch. It's very, very, very sad to watch. And
It's not easy. Like, people, again, it's so easy to just, excuse me, put a dick in a vagina and call it a day and
yeah,
have fun. But I'm serious. Like, there's serious responsibility
yeah,
that comes with
it's
this.
just it's
Okay, like,
not it's not a joke to just pop babies and think that this is a mitzvah and you're just gonna pop babies and God and Hashem is just gonna be really happy and this is a beautiful thing and have a bris and a kiddush and you're so holy and no, you have a responsibility to make sure that they're being fed, clothed, looking good, emotional, physical,
they're supported.
supported. And then if they're coming to you with issues, you're there to properly help them, not have to ask the rabbi. Use your intuition.
Reach
Reach
out to
out.
people. Like you said, I mean, we're talking about New York, okay? And New York City is not perfect in any sense of measure. But the amount of nonprofit and organizations that exist in the five boroughs, there are so many organizations and things people can reach out to. And you have people such as yourself, like there's other things you can reach out to be able to help. It's like they're your kids. And I keep repeating this through this entire episode, but it's just so true.
But
It's
you
like,
shouldn't have to rely on the organizations. You should be able to
no.
you should be able to support yourself without relying on these organizations. Because when I left, I was still religious. And I remember telling my mother, I don't want you showing up to Based in the Jewish court. My mother's like, well, I'll give you $750 towards your get. And I said to my mother, I don't want you there. I made that cut not to get support anymore. Because I'm like, I am not being codependent anymore on the religion. I don't want to be codependent anymore. Because this is how people stay in the closet, because they meet the dependency on these organizations, because once you dress like this, you're cut off for help. And I'm like, I rather live free of anxiety and being stuck into something than getting help financially or clothing or shoes. I don't know, whatever they give you, food, than being stuck into these organizations. And that is a statement I made. And I don't want my mother there for reasons that she would be embarrassed of me of how I acted at Based-In. But I was like, no, I don't need your $750. I'm not codependent anymore of you. That's it. And
No, and it's 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 crazy even for myself. Like, I'm not going to say who, but I've had family members telling me like, "Oh, okay, you're relocating. You should ask family members for money." And I keep telling them like over and over again, like, I'm doing this on my own right. Like, I'm going to figure this out. Because when you think of codependency, obviously, you're in a romantic relationship with somebody, having codependency is important. It allows you to have proper communication back and forth. But this notion of always needing codependency, never being able to do things independently, figuring things out on your own, giving yourself the opportunities to actually push yourself forward. You limit yourself. You put yourself in a position where you are bound by the rules of whatever is giving you that
yeah,
codependency.
religion does it to you. Religion does it to you. Religion, Jude always says, it's really funny. Jude always says religion could be good or religion could be bad. Religion could be used as a weapon or religion could be used as a gift. And that's
And it's not just Judaism. I mean, again, we've talked about this. OTD is another
yeah,
religion. With those
yeah.
communities, religion comes in all different forms, flavors, and
Even the
shapes.
queer community, even LGBTQ, I'm sorry, there could also be another
It's a
cult.
religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is something like if you do anything in a rigid way with your own set of rules and your only black and white thinking, then it's a cult. And that's what it is. And you have to realize that it's just a matter of realizing that you need to be able to be free thinking and fluid and able to be like, okay, so what do you want? What would you like? Like have conversation. Like it's hard when you're autistic and later on you find out because a lot of autistic people are black and white. So this is something you need to be able to open and learn and be willing to make those changes and not blame it on your label. And this is something that people have to understand. You're not excused with your label. And this is people I've cut out because if you're excusing yourself with your label, I'm sorry. Like I could walk around and be like, okay, I am labeled, so I could punch you in the face because I could be physical. My father showed anger. He slammed the tables, he slammed doors. And I realized at some point that I was doing that. So I went to my coach and I said to him, how can I work on this that I don't act like my father? And that is a big step that I took because I don't want to be angry at my nieces when they trigger me because they were triggering me and I was taking it out like my father. And that's an awareness people have to take because it is hard to be honest with yourself when you're acting a certain way. That's the only way you're going to change your attitude and your behavior by looking deep inside of you and being able to discuss it. And I made those changes where when I feel I'm getting angry, I actually told Jude, I'm feeling angry right now. I'm feeling angry right now. I'm going to step away. I'm feeling angry right now, or I was going to yell at you. You were irritating me. I really was about to yell at you and I didn't. This is way to work on yourself by being honest. If you cannot have those honest conversations, you're in the wrong crowd of people.
It's hard because I feel like a lot of the times to get there, you have to go through a lot in order to be able to see it.
Mhm.
And I think, and I'm going to be straight up and honest, I think this is something that you can relate to the most. This is something that I feel hits home more than anything else. Sexualizing teenagers, I think, is completely wrong. Like, teenagers are teenagers, you should leave them alone. But the lack of sex education, the lack of being able to allow people as they're growing to figure out their own sexuality instead of them learning it the hard way, which I did in my case.
In my case.
You in your case too. And I think one thing that has happened to me now is the sense where I cut off romantic relationships very easily. If something is off, if something doesn't feel right, I just ghost them. I'm not interested in. I'm at a point where I've started to learn and respect the fact that if anybody is ever going to date me seriously, they're going to have to work really hard because I'm not. There's no like sweet cushion at the first date. Is just all right. Okay, my dad did this to me when I was 5. My mom did this, like, straight list. Like, they're like, what? I'm like, I'm gonna keep going. You could leave because I got 3 hours more of this commentary to go.
Exactly.
So, letting you know.
Exactly. You're like Zenny playing hard to get.
Uh-huh.
You're like Zenny.
Listen.
Midnight, right?
I'm exotic. Hello.
Right, Midnight?
You know how many?
Or Cat. Right, Zenny? You're playing hard to get. No, seriously speaking, it is really true because when you come from trauma and you have PTSD and you have those triggers and you have what you've been through, it's very hard to separate the mind and be like, okay, you went through this. How do I now take it where I can see that person to give them a chance, or are they really hurting me, or they themselves don't even understand what they did wrong? Now, this is funny. Jude and I in the very beginning, the only argument I remember, Jude and I probably told you.
Of many arguments. Yeah.
I don't remember half the arguments I have with Jude because I'm like, we never fight. So I'm like, we never.
No, never. Never. No, never.
So the very first argument we had was like, we have to be like I'm doing good, like I'm doing so good. What are your changes? What are you working on? Like it was crazy fight. She was in like they were in therapy. I was in coaching, and I was like, coaching is better than therapy. What the fuck are you doing? And she was like writing up a list of how good they are, and I'm like, oh, it's crazy fight. That's how we started our relationship.
You had to be there, okay? This is a lesson in the moral of the story is like you had to have been there.
Yeah, this is like how we started, okay? The foundation of our relationship was this. It's like ultimatum. Like it was bad. So this is 4 years later, we're amazing. So almost 4 years, October will be 4 years.
They laminated and posted the ultimatums. They're somewhere in their bedroom. I don't know where. I've searched the bedroom myself, okay, and I couldn't find it.
Exactly. And I'm like, Jude and I still laugh about it because it's the only real argument we remember, like details too. And we sat there, we probably cried because it was really bad. We sat there and we spoke about it. It was the most hardest conversation to have. And we realized that it was from my trauma that I was like, I'm not fixing anyone. Like, I had to literally fix my exes. I thought I need to fix another person. You know, I'm not fixing nobody.
No, Jude can fix themselves very well.
Exactly.
And Jude will tell you that straight to your face.
Exactly. So this is really like exactly what it is. And it made me realize that like I'm not here nurturing anybody. We are damn people by ourselves. We are two individuals. Like I'm working on myself, Jude is working on themselves. We are making our changes. And what was really hard is that Jude been out many years and I had just recently left. And that was the challenge of our relationship as well, because Jude is like, let's go eat like non-kosher out in our neighborhood. I'm like, Jude, are you crazy? People know me here. And I just did it on Shabbos.
Let's just say Jude had a very bad influence on Shane.
Jude's like, and then our first PayPal, we went to McDonald's, and that's what the video we put up, and we got so much hate on it. But like that was just because like that was the first pizza I broke. After that, we're keeping pizza.
No, and it's really okay. Just to point this out, all right. I had to teach Shane how to cook bacon properly, right? Turns out Shane did not know how to cook bacon at all. Like, Shane was like, "Why don't you put it in the oven?" And I'm like, "Excuse me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you put it in the oven." I'm like, "No, you don't put bacon in an oven. You cook it on a pan." You
Nothing that
know?
I ate the
And
whole package. I didn't know you're supposed to separate.
that was another thing too, by the way. Literally a whole package of bacon. I wasn't even there, okay?
I
Like,
tell
there
this to
was
the
no
non-Jewish kid I'm
sharing.
trying to work with. They tell it to everybody.
Whole tray, right? All 12 pieces. Could have like rolled it up, one of those deli rolls they have like on Thursday,
Oh my god! When you go to the Cholin parties,
put the whole thing in there.
which is so
Well,
true.
I knew somebody that made cholent with bacon, okay, and ham,
Yo,
and I didn't know this while I was eating it. And I'm like sitting there, and then they just like looked at me and they're like, "It has ham, okay? It has bacon." And I'm like, "Okay." I didn't need to know that. I'm very thankful I did know. It was great. It was probably the most non-kosher cholent I've had in my life. I'm sure the kugel wasn't kosher either. It was probably schmaltz or lard or something in the neighborhood. Milk in there too.
exactly. Well, this is just to show that you need to be able to work on your relationships too, because what you're saying is that it's hard to know how to figure out, are you dropping them because of trauma? Or are you dropping them because you're scared of having hard conversations?
I'm not built for South Florida. That's one thing I am realizing. I'm a little too obnoxious for here. Like, I've had to slow I've had to slow down the way I talk out here because people are like, "What?" I'm like, "Did you not hear what I just said to you? What? I'm trying to talk to you over here. Like, what's going on?" You know,
I'm not from New York, so I guess.
boy, we're in the wrong universe. It's like, let's go to the next one. Maybe that one has a little more psychopathic,
Exactly. But now
crazy
keeping
people.
it kosher for my sister and my nieces because we gotta make it, make that clear.
Kosher. Reminds me of going to like Ben's Deli. Anybody ever experienced this? You go to a kosher delicatessen. It's just called a kosher delicatessen, right? Go in there and you're like, "Oh, we got kosher food." They're like, "Yeah, we got kosher food." And you look down and you're like, "What's that?" I was like, "Oh, that's mashed potatoes with bacon." And I'm like, "Bacon? That's not kosher." They're like, "Well, we're kosher style." And I'm like, hang on a minute. Okay, wait. So you're a quote kosher delicatessen. They're like, "Yeah, we make kosher style food." And I'm like, so same thing like with the Orientals. We have the Chinese food. It's not technically Chinese food. It's American Chinese food. Like,
Listen,
it's called American Chinese food.
listen, we
Like,
do our best.
no, I'm serious. Like, I have no gripe with those kosher delicatessen. Like, put all that bacon on my pastrami sandwich. Like, I'm cool with that. But
No, we're kosher. We
not.
support our nieces. We really good with our nieces and sister. And you know what? Because they respect us 100%, so we respect them. This is very important to put out this, because when you leave the religion and you come out queer, a lot of people disown you and you lose a lot of family and friends. And I lost everyone in my family besides my sister. And my partner lost a lot of people in their family. They have their parents and they have a few siblings. So because of that, I do a lot for my sister and my nieces. And because they respect me for who we are, and because of that, they come to us for everything. So because of that, we do a lot for them. And people respect us for that. And we have a lot of religious people who support us for that. And I am very grateful to those religious people for that. And because of that, I have to work through not being triggered for kosher and for holidays, but it's good. And yeah, so just putting
No, and I think it's.
it
I
out there.
think it's honestly like being. No, I'm serious. Like, I think it's a really important balance because the idea of which is where I I believe in this concept where if you respect me, I will respect
Yeah.
you. You know, I I have no gripes. If somebody feels that Jesus is king, kudos to you. You want to be Christian? That's
Exactly. I'm the
great.
same way. Like,
I
I don't care if you come on my TikTok and you talk to me about Christianity and you want to tell me that you have trauma, I'll work with you. I don't care. Like, you tell me you're not an atheist, I don't care. I'm an atheist, but you're an atheist, I don't care. If you're not an atheist, I don't care. Like, I respect you. If you respect me, everybody have their story. Everybody has their story. Like, I do not judge. And that is what I learned with my nieces, having them in my life. Like, they really taught me a lot, seeing that you could be in two worlds. And that tells me the book I wrote. I should go get it.
I mean, if you want
I
to,
forgot to have it next to me.
I didn't even. Yeah, I mean, you besides coaching and being a TikTok shadow ban celebrity, um, which by the way, you get the crown for that title, by the way, which is just absolutely phenomenal. But you've definitely like you've definitely been able to learn a lot along the way, especially like even with writing and being able to do all of this. But like this is not something that you learn in two
No,
weeks. I try to emphasize this really hard where you the real way to success is actually putting in the time and energy and understanding it's not overnight.
no.
It could take a
Yeah,
minute.
it took me. I did so much coaching over the years, so obviously I had experience before I got to my main coach who changed my life. But he actually taught me what a narcissist is. He taught me what self love is. He taught me what like how to really not diet anymore and how to enjoy life. He taught me what life is and how to really experience living instead of dying. He taught me to choose leaving the religion because he helped me set my goal. He asked me the right questions that I've learned to ask my clients so they get the answers they want. He taught me where I need to work on, and he taught me how to do the healing that I do on my own, that I do with my client.
It's being able to like again, it's okay to reach out for help sometimes, like we don't all have it figured out and I think that's okay to admit, you know? And like I don't think that is failure. I think it's being able to realize your skills and things you need to be able to work on. And I'll be honest, I think like even speaking with even the gay community, the LGBT community, this is a real problem that exists. You have way too many people that are hung up on hookup culture. They're too hung up on. I've heard this too many times. Like, let's go out and do drugs. Let's go out and like party. Let's go out and have fun. And all this. Like, you reach a point in your life where it's nice to have fun, but it's nice to be able to have somebody that doesn't chicken out on a relationship because you got too intimate with them. You didn't go on enough, excuse me, dates with them.
Mm-hmm.
Which, what the fuck does that even mean? All right, like you're so materialistic. That's also another thing is being so materialistic. It's like the car you drive, the salary that you have.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
Mm-hmm. And those things are not even so important when you've gone through so much. Yes, you could stop buying those things and collecting those things like I do, but those are not even so important when you've gone through so much. It's more important to get your mental health in check and get your triggers in check and knowing that your triggers don't define you. Like, you don't need to throw up from the smell of chillins anymore, like I did. You don't need to have a panic attack when you pass by a synagogue where they actually like hurt you so much. You don't have to have a nightmare. Yes, medication can help, but even with medication, sometimes it doesn't fully help. So you could work through a lot of it and work through the triggers and be okay with working through it, not just do talk therapy.
I look like we've talked about this together. Like I think there's a lot of really great therapists, but I think one of the biggest problems that I've run into, especially with therapists, especially ones like specialize with either being with, you know, um, like You have like gay therapists that work specifically with guys and whatever. Um, you have also those one that like take some creative measures. My biggest gripe is with this. They have to process so much crap that comes their way of people talking to them back and forth that sometimes I have to ask myself the question, like, again, nothing against the industry. How mentally stable are these people? Because I had one on this podcast, he came on, he literally exposed the root problem with therapy. And he did it all for me for free, which was amazing. I didn't even want to publish that episode. I didn't want to publish it. But I said, you know what? I need to expose this. You know what? Like, there are people that are listening to these episodes. Like, I showed you the true side of what some of these therapists are. Like,
I
they're proud of their
yeah,
divorces. Isn't that wonderful? They're proud. They're proud that they'll only talk to you if you give them
yeah,
$750. They're so proud. Isn't that
yeah,
crazy? A person you're pouring your life out and your story to.
yeah. And then they want to put
Yeah,
you
but
in
you're
the
paying.
psych ward if you talk too much to them. And if you tell them too much, then you're too hard. Right now, there's a psychiatrist that I know 3 people that went to this like NP, whatever, psychiatrist, whatever you want to call her. And she told them that they're too hard to deal with. Why is she working? Why is she in this industry? If she can't help them, 3 people, too hard to deal with. Why is she in this industry? Like, I had clients that told me that I helped them more than a therapist helped them. I did more, and they've been in therapy for years, and I helped them more. And I see it because they're online producing stuff, their life. And their life is amazing now because of the work I've done with them.
I think what the problem is again, it's being able to do these things require a passion. Okay. And I can kind of understand the fear on the other side as well. But being able to reach out when you need help is so important in the sense where I get it, especially where you're dealing in a world with insurance. And let's be very honest, most of the insurance companies in this country are evil. They don't care about you. They rather you drop debt so you cost them less money. Like, I'm not, this is straight up being honest. I mean, like, the shooting of a CEO like last year should just tell you enough of how much Americans hate health insurance. And you have a lot of medical doctors that they just don't give a shit. To them, you're just their paycheck and their 15 minutes so that they can put in for the insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have those people, though, right? Where, with even in coaching, you have even with doctors that are like DOs, that they want to spend the time with you. They're actually passionate about their work and they're passionate of what they do. And they are incredible individuals that can help. Be able to believe that is a reality. That not all doctors, not all social workers, not all coaches, not all therapists are horrible people. It's just going to be hard. Let's be real. It's going to be hard to find the real ones. Because trust me, the ones that are not real, they're paying a lot for
Yeah,
advertising, especially with
yeah.
Zillow.com.
It's true.
Every time you're looking for like an apartment, you just see Zillow with like therapists. I'm like, why am I getting a therapist ad? This is crazy.
It's true. It's not, it's really, it's making that commitment really. Like, I get excuses all the time. I understand people don't have money, but I get excuses so much that they can't pay for it. Then I find out that it's their boyfriend who didn't want them to sign up, or that they're just afraid, or that they are just leaving somewhere, or they're like, there's a bigger reason why they can't sign up to sign. Like, when someone has an excuse, there's a bigger reason why they can't sign up. And usually 99.9%, that's the reason. Is always, if you cannot sign up, like, I had someone now who was trying to tell me, oh, they need help leaving, they need help changing, they need work. They were doing a runaway with me on the phone. I finally said to them, if you don't commit to a time, then you're not committed to working with me. I never got a message back.
Well, we talked about this before because Shane came on today, which is not going to be the same day that you're listening to this. This would be Saturday, August 2nd. Um, I had 2 no-shows in a row today. One, I couldn't even find on Podmatch, which is what I use to book guests. And then the other one didn't even show up to a pre-call. And I said to myself, like, I've come to a point where, like, I respect myself too much that if you give me that type of disrespect, even before I even meet you, goodbye. Like, there's other podcasts out there. I'm sure they'll deal with your bullshit. Good luck to them, because I don't want to
Yeah.
deal with it.
I used to give so many chances, and I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm like, if you're not
Fuck
going to
'em.
respect my work,
Fuck 'em.
yeah, that's it. Like, you need to,
No.
yeah, you have to respect the work I do because, that's it. Like, it's a matter of self respect.
And I think there are, especially like, I know there are plenty in New York, and I'm sure are in plenty of places where you do have those parents, especially today where you have 2 parents that are working.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're bringing in good income. And if you do have difficult kids, like you said, like, there are options. There's always virtual,
Mm-hmm.
which for some kids it works, for some kids it
No, you
doesn't.
could just
It's
have the
always
parent.
worked
You
to,
could speak with the parents. Like I said, so
yeah.
many adults and parents are being diagnosed later in life. So sometimes the parents really need just help parenting or helping them figure out how to make a better home and a safety home and a home just for their child while the children are getting help. So many parents are burnt out. So many parents are struggling and are not even getting the self care they need because they're giving it all to their children. And sometimes parents need that self love. Sometimes parents need to be taken care of and not giving it all to their kids because now the children are getting all the help, but there's not so much help for the parents.
No. And I think that's also important too. Like, when you're an adult, being an adult doesn't mean that you have had everything figured out. Like, I think what we kind of forget is that when you're an adult, you're still very much a child. It's just you got hair in places that you never dream that'll be there. You got parts of your body that are sagging that you wish they never would sag. But that's just, a part of being an
Mm-hmm.
adult. And you're not you're not failing. You're not being a bad person if you can't be able to handle certain things. It maybe just means that you need to learn a different approach to be able to, like, figure that out,
Right.
and make a game plan for yourself where you want to do adulthood completely independently. Good luck. I know a lot of people have done that, and they're really fucking stupid adults, to be honest. I think they know everything.
Yep.
They're not very successful people, to be honest. I don't know any. You might know of a few, but I don't know of any. Do you?
Nope.
No.
Because everyone needs help.
What
I
does that
need
tell
help.
you?
Others need help. Like people need help. It's just the way because the way we were brought up was always to be dependent on others, and that doesn't mean that it's a failing. Doesn't mean you're failed. It's just a matter of learning that it's okay to get help. It's okay to make a different change. It's okay to learn a different way. It's okay to realize it's okay to change, and it's okay to make a difference. It's okay to do something different.
Yeah. Shane, before we wrap up this podcast, do you want to show these wonderful people your
Yeah.
book? And we're gonna go over. I'm me and Jude are pushing Shane to do this. Shane will have a proper website of some sorts that we'll put in the podcast description, as well as social media handles. If you like lives on TikTok, Shane is definitely your go-to person. There's cats rescue and
And holding space
religious
right now for holding space for heathen.
holding space, faith, issues, trauma, how to use the toilet, all those wonderful things.
Oh my god, you're crazy.
Oh wow! So the shameful secret of Pride Month,
Now on Amazon.
now on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles,
Yeah, it's also it's on Ingram Spark, so it's everywhere, anywhere.
and if I'm not mistaken, you guys are getting your book into the Brooklyn
Yeah, we're
Library.
working on that. Yep.
How's that going?
That's going. We have to get back to them. So we're waiting for that. If not, we're going to apply again in January. So we're just waiting to hear back from them. But we're working on it. We're trying to get them into local bookstores too. Yep.
So, what is the what do you want to leave off with these wonderful people? Regards to your future, in regards to coaching, your writing, all of your wonderful skills.
Is that don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to, don't be afraid to realize that you're struggling and you're not alone. So if you're feeling depressed or you're feeling lonely, know that there are resources for you to lean on, and know that you are worthy of being here. You're worthy of, just know that you're worthy and you're good enough. And that
Yeah.
even if you're coming from a hard life or you experienced any kind of abuse, there's ways to change. There's ways to move forward. There's ways to wake up every day and know that you exist. Know that you're worthy of existing. And know that, you know, you're one of a kind. And it takes time to get to your authentic self. It gets, if you're wanting to leave a religion or you're wanting to heal from trauma or you're wanting to just get help with your children who are autistic or special needs the unconventional way, or you need help with that, there's resources with me or other people, but I'm saying like there's ways to get help and you just have to look out for it.
Yeah. 100%. I think that's really powerful too. It's the healing starts with you, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary people. You got to be able to start there, and if you start there, you'll be able to get yourself on either. Might take you 5 years, might take you 10 years. Sometimes it might take you a whole life.
Yeah,
but at least
you're starting.
you're starting. Yeah. Where can you're gonna work on the whole website and everything, all right? Me and Jude are gonna bombard you with this. Where can everybody find your work? Your socials?
Yeah, so Instagram, Religious Revolutionaries, until we change it, but now it's Religious Revolutionary. TikTok, also it's called Safe Place for Heathen, I think. And then also we go with our cat, but we also have good conversation there. Rescues, knickknack. You could just look for Shane and Jude. Just look out for Shane and Jude. You'll find us anywhere. We're on Google it. You'll find us. You'll find us.
Not hard to. Well, be careful because there's another Shane that's online, and if you see a picture of Shane, Shane is not. Yeah, you're not the shooter. A totally different person. All right, just putting that out there. Okay, I did not have a shooter on this podcast. Watch the video. Okay, that will help clear that up. All right.
Yeah. So just Google us, Shane and Jude, because we're changing the but we're out there. You can't miss me on TikTok. You'll find us. We're always going live. We're always here to help people, showing you that you're not alone on either platform. I'm probably going to open another TikTok for the special needs crowd, because the religious crowd, more we talk about religious stuff, about helping people through their religious challenges. That's not changing. If someone needs help there, I'm coaching that too. I'm here to help whatever you need help with. I don't, what's the word?
Je ne sais quoi.
I don't, what's the word? I don't care. I don't depend the word for it.
No, you're open. You're a person that, again, you have a lot of experience with coaching, and like anybody that's listening over here, I know this is an artsy podcast, but Shane is no exception to the rule. Definitely, like, if you're not in the state of New York, don't worry. Shane will still talk to
Yeah,
you.
I coached.
You could reach
I
out
coached
virtually.
virtually, all over. I've done. I did. Yeah, anywhere. Yeah,
Everywhere, anywhere,
anywhere.
even
Yeah.
Alaska. Even
Oh, I
Alaska.
forgot the
They even
time zones.
or Hawaii. Aloha.
I'll figure out the time zone. I'll do that. ChatGPT. What time is it here? Now Google. What time? What time is it in New York? The time is it in Hawaii?
Oh my god, I run into that. Oh my, I have to tell you, like, even longtime friend, regardless, like, I think we covered a lot of stuff here. We left a lot of people thinking, maybe open up their minds a little bit to realize, I think, two things that are the most important. Self healing starts within yourself, and it's okay to admit that you have traumas and triggers.
Yeah.
I think it's the two most important
Yeah, you
things
don't need to
in
know.
the
People
law.
don't need to know your story. People don't need to know. You don't need to tell everybody your story. Like, you don't need to share your life. You just healing the traumas and triggers is just what's important.
Your authentic self.
Yeah, to get
Yeah.
to your authentic self, so that you can have success.
Oh yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for coming on and spending the time here.
Thank you for having me.
And
Forget.
oh, of course. I'll do a little represent. And I'm gonna leave all of your socials and everything below with the new website, a little link tree,
Yes.
right? We post everything on. I have the podcast now on Substack and in Rumble, which is really, really cool. I'm gonna represent for the underground. And so with that, if you guys want to check out more of the podcast, you can find us at Lost Pod. Catch you, motherfuckers. Next week. All right, peace out. Yeah.